I think the performing arts are always important because they offer all of us, the makers, the doers, the witnesses, a way to ask questions and look for answers in unique and empathetic and often really surprising ways.
The live performing arts is so important, especially during this pandemic where we realize just how much we miss it. It's crucial for life.
After over a year of isolation, as we emerge from the pandemic and as we seek to rebuild our communities, rebuild the economy, and to create jobs, the performing arts are uniquely adept at galvanizing the community to come together.
We encourage the building of bridges and not walls. We initiate conversations where people are liberated to question and explore and demonstrate how essential creativity is to life itself.
Arts and culture is the way that we express as humans. And I've always thought that it was important, and that's why I went into this career. But it is important more than ever because of the year that we have had, the continued racial injustices that we all face.
The performing arts play a vital role in renewing our spirits and awakening our hope for a new future.
The arts will play a huge part in our economic growth and recovery. As we reopen facilities, we will be putting millions of people back to work. The economic impact will stimulate the growth and development of our communities, returning them to the vibrant cultural centers they were pre-pandemic.
Over the past year, where everything's been upended, I've been inspired by so many artists and organizations who found a way to keep going and create and present work that helps make sense of what we're all going through. And for every one of us, this is an opportunity to reset some of the assumptions that have guided our field for so long.
So I raise an invisible glass. What can I say but the shows must go on, and on, and on, and on. Well, where would we be without APAP? We've gotten used to this little screen and how to express ourselves and connect to the world, and that's it. I've made lifelong friends with these people that have supported us for half a century. It's really pretty remarkable.
I am as well really grateful to the APAP for existing, for being this bridge, this connector in between those presenting spaces, but I would say more, those human beings that are behind those presenting spaces, that permits us to connect with the people, the citizens, one by one, but as well collectively.
You know, that happens at the conference, a place where we get to come together and explore creativity and action together, and through all of APAP's other programs.
For me, knowing there's a place I can turn to learn about anti-racism work, COVID-19 relief, reopening, live streaming, and more, specifically for our industry, makes me feel hugely supported and part of a family.
Before we were named as artists in this country, we were creating sound, we were creating what we needed for passage, what we needed for home, what we needed to survive, what we needed to communicate with the stars and get ourselves to freedom.
The performing arts play a vital role in renewing our spirits and awakening our hope for a new future.
The arts will play a huge part in our economic growth and recovery. As we reopen facilities, we will be putting millions of people back to work. The economic impact will stimulate the growth and development of our communities, returning them to the vibrant cultural centers they were pre-pandemic.
Over the past year, where everything's been upended, I've been inspired by so many artists and organizations who found a way to keep going and create and present work that helps make sense of what we're all going through. And for every one of us, this is an opportunity to reset some of the assumptions that have guided our field for so long.
So I raise an invisible glass. What can I say but the shows must go on, and on, and on, and on. Well, where would we be without APAP? We've gotten used to this little screen and how to express ourselves and connect to the world, and that's it. I've made lifelong friends with these people that have supported us for half a century. It's really pretty remarkable.
I am as well really grateful to the APAP for existing, for being this bridge, this connector in between those presenting spaces, but I would say more, those human beings that are behind those presenting spaces that permits us to connect with the people, the citizens, one by one, but as well collectively.
You know, that happens at the conference, a place where we get to come together and explore creativity and action together, and through all of APAP's other programs.
For me, knowing there's a place I can turn to learn about anti-racism work, COVID-19 relief, reopening, live streaming, and more, specifically for our industry, makes me feel hugely supported and part of a family.
APAP continues to create a community for performing artists to come together, for folks working in the performing arts sector to come together, and to continually be reminded of the power of our community and our collective wisdom.
I think APAP creates an alchemy that's really irresistible, with people and ideas and energy and creative elements. I've learned so much every time I've attended the conferences. It's created moments of real magic.
And it was there during my travels that I met someone who introduced me to APAP. And I went from being alone to having my vibe attract my tribe of like-minded individuals. APAP, I thank you.
Please welcome APAP's President and CEO, Lisa Richards-Toney.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the APAP Honors. I am Lisa Richards-Toney, President and CEO of the Association of Performing Arts Professionals. APAP is located in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., on the ancestral lands of the Piscataway, the Pamunkey, and the Anacostan people, who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. We pay respect to all of their ancestors, past, present, and future. Today marks a very special occasion, the inaugural APAP Honors. This year represents a first for our annual awards program as a standalone event, which allows us to really focus on the laudable achievements of performing arts professionals, you, your colleagues, all of us, and celebrate their indelible contributions to the field. This year's event is also remarkable because of the times. We invite you to join us in celebrating the achievements of performing arts industry professionals at a time where our championing and support are integral to our survival and the incredible impact we have on individuals and communities. In honoring our own, we remember and proclaim who we are and are inspired to know that our work, your work, in advocacy, in programming, in artistry, and in service matters. APAP's role, leadership, and mission as a service organization have never been more important. We are at the beginning of a campaign entitled Carry the Field Forward. As we work to make ourselves whole this year, in spite of the decimating effects of the pandemic, we find ourselves uniquely positioned at APAP, a membership organization that is being asked to hold up a sturdy yet flexible, big tent for the wide range of diverse members that is APAP. And very quickly, our charge has become to help our members stay with us so that we could be here for all of you. APAP at its core, its vision, is to bring together supporters of the live performing arts to embrace a movement that APAP is shouldering to lead the field forward as we renew and reimagine ourselves. Not only are we working to subsidize costs so that we can continue to be the support our members need now, and we expect well into the immediate future. But we also need to ensure our capacity so that we can be the field leader that is needed now and into the future. We are committed to delving deep into the important work around race equity, diversity and inclusion, equitable partnership models, and the important advocacy that is showing us how we can win and letting everyone else know that we are worth it. We have to stay ready, stay the course, be nimble, so that we can continue to hold up this big tent that is APAP. It is a wide view, certainly, but with depth and perspective for sure. As we begin, I want to thank IMG Artists for sponsoring APAP Honors this year, just as they have sponsored our annual awards luncheon for many years. Please join me in welcoming and view of a video from IMG Artists to honor their generous support. Thank you.
One day soon,
the lights will come up.
The stage will be set.
Y volveremos a subir al escenario.
We will sing and dance and play and be together again.
To feel, experience, laugh, cry, grow, inspire, and to be inspired, as only arts can do.
Until that day,
we thank you.
We want to thank you
for your commitment,
your ingenuity,
your support,
your patience, for all the work you do every day.
We at IMG Artists celebrate every member of APAP.
Together, we have entertained and enchanted millions of people.
And we can't wait to get back on the road.
From all of us at IMG Artists,
te damos las gracias.
Thank you, IMG Artists. Please also join me in acknowledging the critical support for programs and operations that APAP receives from foundations and agencies. They support many of us, and we appreciate their dedication. American Express, Doris Duke Charitable Foundation, the Fan Fox and Leslie R. Samuels Foundation, the Mertz Gilmore Foundation, the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, the Wallace Foundation. We thank all of our supporters who this year stood with us as we did our best to lift up and carry forth. Thank you for helping us so that we could help so many. At this time, I would like to honor the memory of the many treasured artists and members of our field who have passed since our last award celebration. Too many who touched our lives have departed. I take this moment to say thank you and honor your contributions to the field. One individual in particular, Diane Rodriguez, who is nominated posthumously for this year's Fan Taylor Distinguished Service Award for exemplary service to the field of professional presenting. Diane's accomplishments are legendary. A celebrated member of the Los Angeles theater community, Diane Rodriguez was an actress, director, playwright, and producer. Her career began in 1973 when she joined Luis Valdez's El Teatro Campesino. She went on to become Associate Artistic Director for Center Theater Group and worked with theaters and artists across the country, as well as internationally. Diane was president of the Theater Communications Group Board and received recognition from President Barack Obama. She was also co-founder of the groundbreaking comedy troupe, Latinus Anonymous. What a force of nature and brilliance. Thank you, Diane. You will be missed. In 2013, APAP established the Halsey Alice North Board Alumni Award in honor of the longtime exemplary service to the field of our good friends and colleagues, Halsey and Alice, also known as the Norths. This award is made for outstanding and continuous contributions to the field and industry by former APAP board members. To introduce this year's winner, please welcome Halsey and Alice North.
Established in 2013, we are delighted to present this Board Alumni Award to an APAP Board alum who has provided outstanding and continuous service to APAP and to the field over many years, in addition to their board service. Previous recipients have included Nikki Shepard, the Apollo Theater, Lisa Booth Management, Ken Fisher, University of Michigan, Colleen Jennings Rogensack, ASU Gamage, Ivan Sakota, Pentacle, Susie Serkimer, South Arts, and Jackie Davis, New York City Library for the Performing Arts. Today, we are delighted to present this award to Olga Goray English, whose energy, enthusiasm, and leadership has benefited APAP and our field in numerous ways. Now, she is an independent arts consultant, best known for her international arts projects, especially in Latin America. She has been the Director of Cultural Affairs for the City of Los Angeles, and she was the Program Director for Arts at the Doris Duke Foundation. Olga has been a tremendous asset to our field, and we are thrilled to be able to present this award to her.
Hello, everyone. I'm Olga Garay English. I'm calling in from Los Angeles, California, the home of the Chumash and the Tonga people. And I also want to acknowledge the Siboney from my homeland in Cuba. I want to thank everybody at the Association of Performing Arts Professionals, especially Lisa Richards-Tooney, for bestowing this award on me, the Halsey and Alice North APAP Alumni Award. I especially want to shout out to Halsey and Alice, whom I've known for probably 30 years. They're just wonderful people as human beings and just terrific leaders. And they have been part of the APAP family forever. This is a particularly significant award because it's given to you by your peers and colleagues. And so I am humbled and honored and thrilled and joyous. And I hope that we can all see each other in New York City next January to celebrate in person the Association of Performing Arts Professionals annual conference. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming APAP's board chair,
delighted to present this Board Alumni Award
Niles.
to an APAP Board Alumni.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of the APAP community today and always. Your presence creates vital and the active field that is the performing arts. And all of our collective work together truly transforms communities, whether they be considered large or small, across this entire country and certainly around the world. As many of you know, APAP's work goes far and beyond just our conference, our convening. As many of you are aware, APAP takes on a number of year-round initiatives, including training and mentoring of emerging and mid-career leaders, providing professional development, information network, as well as funding support, and developing new initiatives that respond to the needs and the urgent needs of our field. This past year, I would say that that APAP has done that even more so. We are also greatly focused on ensuring racial and gender equity, diversity and inclusion manifest in all parts of our field, whether that be from our stages, from our offices, our Zoom decision-making rooms, as well as boardrooms, and most definitely reflective in our audiences and communities that we engage. We know that this continues to be a challenging time, but we ask if you have the ability and the capacity to help APAP carry our. You please make a donation by visiting APAP's website, and you can visit us at carrythefieldforward.apap365.org. Again, that is carrythefieldforward.apap365.org. I now want to take a quick moment and just say thank you to my fellow board members whose depth, expertise, their range of care and thought has been incredibly helpful and useful. I also want to say thank you to the staff and very much so to Lisa, Richards, Tony for their dedication and hard work, and even more so for really working to be reflective in the ways that the field needs now at this particular time. So thank you.
Thank you, Renee. This has been quite a year. I'd like to call it the year of advocacy, and many of you would agree. APAP and its advocacy partners across the field have banded together and been your voice for the legislation and the support you need during this time. Senator Amy Klobuchar and John Cornyn's bipartisan bill that is providing $15 billion in relief for independent venues shuttered by the pandemic, including impacted performing arts organizations, promoters, producers, and talent representatives, was part of the coronavirus relief package that was signed into law on December 27th, 2020. That became the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program. The American Rescue Plan that passed in March 2021 brought an additional $1.25 billion to the program. This legislation is a lifeline. Senators Klobuchar, Cornyn, and Schumer heard our field-wide advocacy loud and clear, and they understood how essential our venues and our entire live arts ecosystems are to this country. Their vision, combined with our tenacity. Hello, Broadway League, Culture at 3, Performing Arts Center Consortium. Thank you, NEVA, CAG, hashtag Be an Arts Hero, NEVA, NITO, Getting Creative Workers Working Coalition, all of you and so many more. We did this. Our tenacity created the momentum to affirm that the performing arts are key to economic recovery. The focused actions of many from a diverse group within our arts ecosystem have reverberated, and our voices have been heard. This will literally save our stages, save our jobs, our livelihoods, save our industry. It is now my distinct pleasure to bring to you a special message from Senator Amy Klobuchar.
Hello to everyone attending the Association of Performing Arts Professionals Honors. This pandemic has been tough, and it's been especially tough on everyone who works in the arts, from those who create incredible rock concerts and symphonies to the storytellers behind our favorite plays, musicals, operas. So many artists lost work, and all of the jobs associated with it, from lighting on and performance venues that are usually so full of life, have had to sit empty. At the same time, I think we've seen this incredible love for the arts because people have been so isolated. They start tuning in to new shows and new music and new ideas. And so I am still so optimistic that we're going to get through this and get even stronger. I think you saw that in the support from Congress. So a lot of it comes from personal experiences, my own. I was that suburban high schooler who was always looking for the next concert, you know, piling into the van, okay, Johnny Royer's minivan, to see Led Zeppelin, The Cars, Aerosmith. And then everyone has their own outlook on this. But what I learned from the work that you did, the positive, optimistic work you did with members of Congress, was that everyone can relate to something you guys do. I got the first call from Dana Frank. You know, all know her, the owner of First Avenue in Minneapolis. And it is great to see her as one of the nominees tonight. When I talked to Dana, she told me, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. Live performance venues were the first to close down, and I think you know will be some of the last to reopen. You can't stand in a mosh pit in the middle of a pandemic, and you can't sit elbow to elbow in a small theater. Congress did step in. Never would have happened without all of you and the Save Our Stages and masks and everything you did. Senator Cornyn and I have worked together on a lot of stuff. We joined forces to pass legislation that put aside $16 billion for the Shuttered Venues Operating Grant. It's going to help so many. And I know we just had the applications, finally, on Monday that opened up. And I'm so glad so many people applied. And so we know that help is out there. But we also know through it all, it's been a challenging year. We're finally seeing, I'm not going to say light at the end of the tunnel. I'll use the Duluth mayor's words, the lighthouse on the horizon, you know, Lake Superior. And as we get through this pandemic, I want to leave you with some wisdom from a Minnesota legend, Prince. He said, music is healing. Music holds things together. That's pretty much what all of you did. So I want to thank you. I want you to enjoy the rest of the awards. And hey, Dana, after we pass that bill, you guys should know this. She decided I could have a star on First Avenue, you know, right near like Alice Cooper. But it was in the middle of the blizzard, a blizzard when they did the presentation. And they only were able to write Amy, and then the ink froze. So I thought that was a pretty funny story. So now it's warmer, so we'll have to go at it again. Thanks everyone for what you're doing. And I can't wait to see you at a live event soon.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. And I think Dana will try to get you your star. Thanks to so many of you, all of you who help support APAP and the entire arts field in so many ways. We're really honored. Our next award is the Yates Award. The Yates Award is named in honor of former Representative Sidney R. Yates, whose commitment to the arts is legendary and whose memory continues to serve as an inspiration to us all. The Yates Award is presented to an individual or an organization for a particular advocacy effort or for a sustained advocacy campaign at the national, state, or local level that has had significant impact on the performing arts. Past recipients include Frank Hodsell, Representative Louise Slaughter, Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, the Honorable Edward M. Kennedy, and other outstanding leaders whose singular voice and support for the arts have significantly impacted the field and this country. This year, so many in the field have worked tirelessly to advocate for racial justice and cultural equity. For this reason, I am proud to announce that there are 2 Yates Award winners.
Thank you for giving us this platform. We accept this recognition as a continued call to action.
We call on our field to dismantle anti-Black racism, settler colonization, and able-bodied supremacy. Our field inherited these structures from colonialism, slavery, capitalism, neoliberalism. Our commitment is to reparations work and to building new structures of equity.
It is our shared responsibility to have difficult conversations about and unpack the work of philanthropy and to radically change how it disperses, organizes, and controls wealth.
We all must work towards securing wealth and wellness through the redistribution of resources directly to Black, Indigenous, and other artists of color.
We accept our collective responsibility to support Indigenous-led resistance to culturally extractive industries on their lands.
We must work to continually recognize and articulate the interrelationships between systems of domination and exploitation. All of our work towards liberation can exist through connection, self-reflection, and accountability.
We accept the responsibility to ensure that all artists have access to thrivable living wages and economic security and equitable access to useful and safe assistance and resources.
We call on our field to accept the responsibility to create safe and accessible resources, platforms, spaces, contracts, and communication practices for arts workers.
We must model the arts field that we envision with our actions and do so together. We call on CNF, APAP, and all arts institutions to accept this shared and necessary responsibility to create access, equity, justice for all, and as UPIC arts worker Emily Johnson has named,
a living process toward decolonization.
Creating New Futures, CNF, began as a document to address the deep-rooted inequities in the performance arts field that were amplified by the global pandemic. The project's call to action is to create a more equitable and inclusive dance and performance ecosystem in which everyone can thrive. Now in phase 2, CNF is currently formed into working groups that center BIPOC and Disabled Plus lives, including Disability Plus, Black and Indigenous survivors, intersectional writers, and contracts. Congratulations to all the people who comprise Creating New Futures on this well-deserved honor.
Thank you to everyone that voted for NIVA, the National Independent Venue Association, for this award. This award, they were nice enough to ship it in advance. So thank you from both Dana and myself and the founding board, the extended board, the advisory board, the National Independent Venue Foundation board, the hundreds of volunteers who helped make NIVA the power that it was over this past year, that launched Save Our Stages, all of the different organizations, people, companies, artists, employees, former employees, furloughed employees, that all just gave everything they had to be able to help. And I think that this was a true sign of the community coming together for the common good. Thank you.
Thank you to APAP. It was wonderful to work with you guys and to work across the nonprofit and the for-profit and the government entities and to come together as one arts economy and creative economy to all just, work endlessly to get this much needed relief to our industry. Thank you so much. We're so grateful.
This is going on the mantle. Thank you, everyone.
Independent Venue Association, NIVA, was formed in mid-April 2020, just 3 weeks into the pandemic shutdown. NIVA now consists of more than 3,000 venues, promoters, and festivals representing every state, Washington, D.C., and Guam. With the support of its members and their fans, the organization successfully launched a nationwide movement, #SaveOurStages, pulling together voices big and small to save independent venues and promoters on the brink of collapse due to the COVID-19 shutdowns. Congratulations, Dana Frank. Congratulations, Rev Moose, both co-founders. I'd like to welcome back Renee.
Thank you, and congratulations to those being honored in multiple ways. I want to announce our next award, which is the William Dawson Award for Programmatic Excellence and Sustained Achievement in Programming. The William Dawson Award for Programmatic Excellence is presented to an individual or organization for the quality, innovation, and vision of program design, audience building, and community involvement efforts.
Hi, I'm Oscar Eustace, Artistic Director of the Public Theater, and on behalf of myself, Patrick Willingham, the board and staff of the Public, I want to thank APAP for this prestigious honor. Thank you for the William Dawson Award for Programming. We are partners, APAP and the Public. We have been for decades, and we look forward to decades more of partnership. We believe that theater is a dialogue, not just a dialogue on stage, not just a dialogue between the stage and the audience, but a dialogue among us all. It's that dialogue, showing the audience what we can do, listening to what they want from us and trying to respond to that, turning theater from a commodity back into a set of relationships. That is what the Public stands for. We believe the culture belongs to everyone, which is why we cast such a big net, from Hamilton on Broadway and around the world, to the Under the Radar Festival, to Joe's Pub, to our mobile unit, to the Public Works Festival. We have a huge diversity of aesthetic forms within the Public's umbrella because we have to reach, speak to, and be in dialogue with a hugely diverse audience. That's the hope, that's the promise of what the theater can bring, and that's what I hope you're recognizing us for trying to do. Thank you very, very much.
The Public has long operated on the principles that theater is an essential cultural force and that art and culture belong to everyone, as you could see. So congratulations to William Dawson Award honoree, the Public Theater.
And excellence have defined or redefined an art form for today's audience.
Thank you to everyone at the Association of Performing Arts Professional, APAP. Thank you to everyone who took part in gathering this incredible circle of nominees. For me, that is the most gigantic gift, to be in such good company. I never imagined that I would get to represent our year, this year, 2021. And can it say that we were in a pandemic and carried on with effort and transformation? Can it say that death came too fast for so many of our people? Can it say that we could see how much limitation we put on opening our circles through the lens of a pandemic and the uprising and the race to end the reign of violence, thievery, and injustice by elected officials and reclaim our responsibility for our collective living on planet Earth? We are next in line. And when I look back along the pathway of so many incredible creators connected in this ever expanding APAP circle, my heart is filled with the surety of abundant creativity all around. Thank you, moms, Bernice Johnson Regan, Adisa Douglas, Nona Hendricks, June Millington. Thank you to Sean Regan, Jay Babalota, and all my family and friends. Every single person in Big Lovely, every single person who said yes when I called, everyone who grew and grows me, cast and designers and presenters of Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Sower, and all the Black directors who showed up and said, keep going. Thank you, Bill Bragan, Mayan Wong, Shanta Thake, Eric Ting, Camilla Forbes. Thank you to the people in creative institutions who offered me residence, to my ancestors who woke up every day in impossible conditions and kept love in your hearts, singing towards your children, even as you fought in danger every time you took breath. I am singing your songs always. Thank you.
What a legacy. Singer, composer, musician, curator, and producer, Toshi Regan is a one-woman celebration of all that is dynamic, progressive, and uplifting in American music. Since first taking the stage at age 17, Toshi moved audiences of all kinds with her big-hearted, hold nothing back approach to rock, blues, R&B, country, folk, spirituals, and funk. Join me in congratulating Toshi, the 2021 Award of Merit honoree. And for our next presentation, please welcome the President of North American Performing Arts Managers and Agents, NAPAMA, Gail Boyd.
Hi, I'm Gail Boyd, President of the North American Performing Arts Managers and Agents, or what is commonly known as NAPAMA. NAPAMA is a nonprofit service organization dedicated to promoting the professionalism of its members and the vitality of touring the live performing arts. That dedication took on new meaning in 2020 and continues until now. Many in our industry have been hanging on by a thread and hoping for the day when we could tour live performing arts again. Hopefully things are looking up. Recognizing the decreased funds that our members were confronted with, NAPAMA offered free memberships several times in the past year and pivoted by offering webinars and professional development and whatever else we could do to keep our members encouraged. Each year, NAPAMA recognizes two performing arts industry colleagues, a presenter and an agent manager, with citations of excellence. The recipients are chosen based on demonstrating excellence in several areas: exemplary mentoring, setting an example of best practices, achievement and leadership, and cultivating and promoting diversity, practicing inclusion and creating equity for underserved members of our community. This year, the NAPAMA Award for Excellence in Presenting in the Performing Arts is given to Hollis Ashby, Artistic and Executive Director of the Williams Center for the Arts in Easton, Pennsylvania. Hollis directs all aspects of the multidisciplinary, multicultural performing arts series. Previously, she served as Associate Director of Cal Performances at UC Berkeley, and was a founding member and served on the executive committee of the UC Berkeley Consortium for the Arts. She has held positions at the American Conservatory Theater and the San Francisco Symphony, and has provided and continues to provide professional and pro bono consulting services for the California Jazz Conservatory and Pacific Mozart Ensemble. I am so proud to present this award to Hollis Ashby. Congratulations, Hollis.
Hello, I'm Hollis Ashby, speaking to you from the ancestral lands of the Delaware Lenni Lenape. To have my work recognized by the board and members of NAPAMA is such an honor. Thank you. I consider it one of the most meaningful distinctions in our field. It's especially gratifying to receive this award following the struggles of the past year, when we've realized, like never before, how necessary the arts are, not only to lift our spirits and celebrate our shared humanity, but also to be a key force towards eradicating economic disparity, gender inequality, racism, and climate change. I look forward to continuing this important work with you in the months and the years to come. There are many, many individuals I would like to thank who've influenced me, but they only gave me 90 seconds. I would like to thank you for nominating me, and to thank one mentor from whom I've learned so very much, Robert Cole, former director of Cal Performances. In addition to the countless bits of knowledge about artistic curation and business that he shared with me, are two important pieces of advice. Work with people you like, and if we're not having fun, there's no point in doing this. All of you, each in your own way, have made this very much fun. Thank you.
Before I present the Agent Manager of the Year Award, I'd like to take a moment of personal privilege to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of our Vice President of NAPAMA, Hina Patel, who also served as the chair of the awards committee this year. Thank you, Hina, from the entire board of NAPAMA. The Agent Manager of the Year Award is named for the late cherished Agent Manager Liz Silverstein, whose tireless and enthusiastic support and mentoring of artists and colleagues, both in presenting and management, impacted the entire field by showing us all how shared knowledge and cooperation make for a better and more vital industry and working environment. I am proud to present the Liz Silverstein Award for Agent Manager of the Year to Kevin Spencer, president of Hocus Focus, a self-represented artist, educator, and advocate. Kevin Spencer is an award-winning magician who, at the pinnacle of his career, stepped away from the stage and into classrooms and hospitals. As an educator, artist, consultant, and researcher, he now focuses his attention on using the art of magic to impact change in the lives of children with autism, developmental disabilities, intellectual challenges, emotional behavior disorders, and those who have experienced trauma. His mission is to create inclusive communities where everyone experiences an authentic sense of belonging and no one, for any reason, is relegated to the margins. Kevin exemplifies with excellence every criteria established for the presentation of this award, and I am proud to present this award to him. Congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you, Gail, and thank you, Napalma, so very much for this recognition. I'm humbled and thrilled and grateful. This is especially meaningful to me because Liz was my friend. She introduced Cindy and I to this world of the performing arts in 1995, and we've never looked back. She was a compassionate mentor who enthusiastically supported and guided us in the early days of our work in this industry. I hope I've made her proud, sharing my lived experiences and knowledge with others in the field. You are our family, and like many families do, you have watched us grow. When we retired from performing in 2015 to focus on the work of our nonprofit, you were there, you are there, continuing to support and encourage us. Thank you for that support, and thank you for this very special honor.
Thank you, Gail, and congratulations to Hollis and to Kevin. Now, I would like to introduce two very, very dear colleagues who have served in numerous APAP board leadership capacities over the years. And I, like many of you, couldn't be more honored to call them mentors and dear friends. Please join me in welcoming Colleen, Jennings, Rogensack, and Ken Fisher to reflect on the importance and significance of APAP's call to carry the field forward.
Hey, Colleen, how you doing? You got to unmute, sweetheart.
Oh, it's the phrase of the year, isn't it? Thank goodness we can always hear Lisa. Lisa, what an extraordinary leader you have been through this very difficult time, and how lucky we are to have you.
Well, we sure are. And I look back, Colleen, you know, I got involved with this organization 33 years ago, and no, actually 35 years ago. Wow. And you were already a leader in the field. And I must say that I was a newbie at 42 coming into this field and hadn't done this kind of work very much. And I came in at a time when we were doing the national task force on presenting and touring the performing arts that culminated in a publication called An American Dialogue. And for me, that was one of many gifts I got from APAP. And you were a big part of that whole enterprise. And I considered you one of many mentors I had at that time. And so I find it interesting that now 30 years later, APAP once again is taking the lead at a time when we really need its leadership. And I want to congratulate you, Lisa, for the 10-20-30 pledge, which is so important and so needed right now, just as this task force was as we were transforming the field 30 years ago. So congratulations. And thank you again, Colleen, for helping take my hand and leading me in the right way with this field.
You know, Ken, it's all about legacy, and it is all about those whose shoulders we stand upon so others can stand upon our shoulders. And APAP has led in that effort. My own mentor, Shelton Stanfield, brought me into the organization. And now APAP is making sure that this pipeline is filled with new leaders. And the ELI program is just one of those efforts. And as we look forward into having a field that is richly diverse, APAP is leading the way. Also, you yourself, Ken, created a legacy by bringing the UMS students and all of our college students who come to work at the conference. And not only do they get that experience, but we in turn become mentors to them. And I am proud to say, I still have contacts from many UMS alums, and that the Musical Society and the University of Michigan has put a number of students into our field.
I would just want to urge anybody out there who has the opportunity to bring your gang with you when you come to an APAP conference, but don't stop there. Think of those students if you're at a university or you're in a community where you have interns. APAP makes it really easy to bring a whole bunch of them in. They can volunteer and have that fee waived. The Hilton, you know, you can get 4 and 5 in a room and they don't notice. And that makes it affordable for everybody. So think of the conference as a special opportunity to begin to orient your students and the younger people in your community to come to get to know this organization, and they will become the leaders. And speaking of which, I think Colleen and I gained so much from the volunteering that we did with APAP. Colleen was a board chair, I was a vice chair. And I think we both agree, the more you give, the more you're going to give, the more you're going to receive. And boy, that's what I found. And then in that work that we did on proposal review committees and the conference committee and so on, what a great opportunity to meet a lot of colleagues and be able to give back. Because again, you're going to gain so much more than what you give from that process.
Well, and the other thing that's so exciting is you, as a member of APAP, direct the field, where the field goes. Our Arts Partners program, creative campuses, that all came out of APAP. And what's been really a proud moment for all of us is the number of philanthropic organizations that recognize the importance of APAP. Philanthropic organizations like Duke, like Wallace, who have supported programs we have, and then in our time of need have supported APAP. And then, you know, as a matter of course, we also support APAP, because you're 100% correct, Ken. We always give back our time, our energy, but now it's our turn to give back our resources. And I am very proud to say that I have contributed to this effort, and I hope others will join us, Ken.
I think we've had a number of leaders, you know, Halsey and Alice North, we met a little bit earlier. They put up a challenge and challenged some of us old timers to help match their very generous gift. But, you know, it doesn't stop there. Any gift of any amount is going to be appreciated by arts professionals. And so we would urge, and we know it's been tough. It's been tough for artists. It's been tough for management. And of course, it's been tough for arts professionals. And so, yes, they've been able to get some help along the way from some of the support that folks fought for that have just been honored. But see what you can do to dig maybe a little deeper and give to the organization that it has given us so much along the way. So please help out.
And I also want to say it's important, not just for us, and that's what we learned a great deal from APAP, is that we are an ecosystem. We thrive and survive because we are all in this together. So as we return to our stages, as the road opens up again, we can only do that with a smart, strong service organization that's looking out for us. So I just think it's kind of a no-brainer.
Well, there's lots of ways to give. Volunteer time, service on the board, with your pocketbooks, supporting our staff. And then just imagine how much you can learn. I mean, that's what it was for me. I'd had a couple of careers before this one. And ours is one of the most generous fields in terms of people, giving what they know, what they've learned. So don't hesitate as you come to these conferences or travel to reach out, ask for help, ask for advice, because it'll always be there.
Absolutely, positively. And I think what's marvelous about this, and I want to go back to the ecosystems, I have learned so much from the managers and agents. Congratulations on
yes.
the NAPAMA Award. And that those are resources. I have learned from artists how to do the work that I do as a presenter better. So I can't say enough about what our service organization does for us. I also think it's important to know that in our leadership, Lisa is a voice at the larger cultural table. So we are represented on every front. And whether that is at convenings, whether that is working philanthropically, whether that is advocating for us, and we all have so much to be grateful for in the area of advocation. APAP does that. APAP leads the way. So Ken.
Colleen, it's great to see you, but I think we got to be moving this thing along, right?
You got the high sign.
Okay. So, I think what's up next is a very special award. And I remember when you received this award in 2007, what a thrill it was for me to see you up there. And then a few years later, it's kind of a surprise. You're not sure who it is, and then you were there talking about somebody, and it took me a while to realize you were talking about me. But
Turnabout was Fair Play in 2011, and the look on your face and how exciting that your family was all there to also see you receive the Fan Taylor Award. The Fan Taylor Award is an extraordinary award. It is being recognized by your peers. It is being recognized for the contribution that you have made in a career that you have loved. And the fan kind of loves you back.
Well, I think it's time. We're not introducing the award this year, but we have somebody special that's going to do it. Why don't you take it away?
We do. And I think it's one of the reasons the fan is always the last award to come out, because of what we've just spoken about. So last year's recipient, who's a wonderful, amazing contributor to the field and really literally, makes us dance. It's my pleasure to introduce the wonderful Rena Shagan.
I was honored to receive the Fan Taylor Distinguished Service Award in 2020, so it is my pleasure to introduce this year's recipient. This award is given to an individual whose outstanding service creative thinking, and leadership have had a significant impact on the profession of presenting. And this year's recipient has done that in many ways. Please join me in congratulating our 2021 recipient of the Fan Taylor Award, Mario Garcia Durham. Mario, this award is a well-deserved honor in recognition of your years in the field, working across many types of organizations in the performing arts, from the NEA to Yerba Buena. In your years at APAP, you have provided the glue that brought individuals with diverse interests together, making all feel that they had a seat at the table and that their interests were being considered. It has always been about the field and the organization and not about yourself. We are grateful.
Thank you very much, Rena, for your introduction. I appreciate it. And I want to congratulate you again for your win of the Fan Taylor Award last year. It is well deserved. So I want to let you all in on a little secret, and that is that the whole reason I took the position as APAP President and CEO is so that I could win the Fan Taylor Award. But no one told me it would take 9 years. So I am just teasing. I'm so happy to accept this award today. It means so much to me, and the acknowledgement of your peers, as you all know, is the best. So in thanking you all, I want to first start off by thanking my parents, who in their wonderful indulgence let me quit the football league and go take dancing lessons at Miss Mildred's dance school. I also want to thank various mentors I've had in my life, Patsy Swayze, who taught me that this is a serious business and dance is not just a lark or just for fun. It is very serious, and she instilled that in me very early on. I also want to thank Baraka Saleh. She is an incredible individual and someone who has had such an impact on my life. She is a mentor and will remain a mentor, I think, for the rest of my life. So thank you, Baraka. I want to thank the people at Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. I had the pleasure of starting there when the organization opened, and I stayed there many years. So congratulations on your excellent work. I want to thank Linda Lucero, who's running the Yerba Buena Gardens Festival, which I founded in the year 2000. And thanks to her great work, it is still going very strong. So thank you, Linda. I want to thank the folks at the National Endowment for the Arts. I was there for many years, and I had a great time. They're great colleagues and do such important work for this country, and it was an honor to serve there. And finally, I want to thank everyone at APAP. First, the staff. It's an amazing staff. They work so hard for the membership, and I really appreciated that while I was there. I want to welcome Lisa again. She's been a wonderful successor. I want to thank the board of directors, who are excellent and so committed to this field and the changes that are so important to address at all times. So thank you. I also want to thank the membership. You all were so supportive of me. You were so helpful when we had issues, problems, etc. You were right there, and I really appreciate that. And then finally, I want to thank someone who has been so important in my life and my career, and that is my other half, my husband, Craig Hornis. So thank you very much, Craig. I really appreciate it and will always appreciate it. So I hope in this coming year I get to see you all and hug you and thank you personally for all of your support and all of your goodness towards me, and I hope to reflect that back. So I wish the rest of you a great year and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Mario. What a treat. And what a celebration. Thank you all for coming. Congratulations to all the nominees, the honorees, all of you. Thank you for being with us today. I would be remiss if I also didn't acknowledge properly the awards committee, those individuals who did the hard and heavy lifting to review all of the nominations, make recommendations to the APAP board and staff. It is my pleasure to acknowledge and to thank you individually. Taisha Johnson, Leah Keith, Abel Lopez, Andre Perry, Samantha Pollock, Martha Redbone, Michael Reed, Aisha Ahmed Post, Alberta Arthurs, Madeline Bell, Bill Bragan, Laura Colby, Kathy Edwards, Miklet Hetero, Chad Herzog, and Eleanor Savage. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for giving of your time and your expertise. Also, deepest appreciation to the APAP staff. We put this all on as a staff, and I'm so very proud of them for the pivot that they have made. I also thank the board and our board chair, Renee Williams-Niles, for their outstanding leadership, support of me, and support to all of you. All of our supporters, our friends, including the offices of Senators Klobuchar, Cornyn, and Schumer. Thank you for your cooperation. I think that we have demonstrated that our time is now, and we are stronger together. And yes, we are worth it. And in closing, I'll just say that if this evening has moved you, and if you believe what we believe at APAP, that the arts are essential, that arts workers matter, and that our voice, our advocacy, our profession, and our livelihoods matter, please, if you can, consider supporting APAP with a gift to support our quest, our call to hold up the big tent for arts workers and carry this field forward now and into the future. Visit us online, and there is a link in the chat. Carry the field forward at apap365.org. We only have $56,000 to go by the end of the fiscal year. We have $600,000 alone in this fiscal year. I am so very proud. Thank you for coming, and we hope to see you in person very soon.
I think the performing arts are always important because they offer all of us, the makers, the doers, the witnesses, a way to ask questions and look for answers in unique and empathetic and often really surprising ways.
The live performing arts is so important, especially during this pandemic where we realize just how much we miss it. It's crucial for life.
After over a year of isolation, as we emerge from the pandemic and as we seek to rebuild our communities, rebuild the economy, and to create jobs, the performing arts are uniquely adept at galvanizing the community to come together.
We encourage the building of bridges and not walls. We initiate conversations where people are liberated to question and explore and demonstrate how essential creativity is to life itself.
Arts and culture is the way that we express as humans. And I've always thought that it was important, and that's why I went into this career. But it is important more than ever because of the year that we have had, the continued racial injustices that we all face. We need joy, we need empathy, and art and culture does that for us.
And as a dance artist, I believe that dance speaks to audiences heart to heart and is a source of joy and healing. And in the storytelling can be an opportunity to share our tenacity and perseverance.
Before we were named as artists in this country, we were creating sound, we were creating what we needed for passage, what we needed for home, what we needed to survive, what we needed to communicate with the stars and get ourselves to freedom.
The performing arts play a vital role in renewing our spirits and awakening our hope for a new future.
The arts will play a huge part in our economic growth and recovery. As we reopen facilities, we will be putting millions of people back to work. The economic impact will stimulate the growth and development of our communities, returning them to the vibrant cultural centers they were pre-pandemic.
Over the past year, where everything's been upended, I've been inspired by so many artists and organizations who found a way to keep going and create and present work that helps make sense of what we're all going through. And for every one of us, this is an opportunity to reset some of the assumptions that have guided our field for so long.
So I raise an invisible glass. What can I say but the shows must go on?
and on and on and on. Well, where would we be without APAP? We've gotten used to this little screen and how to express ourselves and connect to the world, and that's it. I've made lifelong friends with these people that have supported us for half a century. It's really pretty remarkable.
I'm as well really grateful to the APAP for existing, for being this bridge, this connector in between those presenting spaces, but I would say more, those human beings that are behind those presenting spaces that permits us to connect with the people, the citizens, one by one, but as well collectively.
You know, that happens at the conference, a place where we get to come together and explore creativity and action together, and through all of APAP's other programs.
For me, knowing there's a place I can turn to learn about anti-racism work, COVID-19 relief, reopening, live streaming, and more, specifically for our industry, makes me feel hugely supported and part of a family.
APAP continues to create a community for performing artists to come together, for folks working in the performing arts sector to come together, and to continually be reminded of the power of our community and our collective wisdom.
I think APAP creates an alchemy that's really irresistible, with people and ideas and energy and creative elements. I've learned so much every time I've attended the conferences. It's created moments of real magic.
And it was there during my travels that I met someone who introduced me to APAP. And I went from being alone to having my vibe attract my tribe of like-minded individuals. APAP, I thank you.
after 60 years, the performing arts are still all about audiences. And so they've never been more important than they are right now. In our collective effort to reconnect people with each other.
As we begin to recover, I'm sensing a growing enthusiasm from our community, who are anxious to return to live performances, if for no other reason than to experience that magic nexus between art and life.
I think the performing arts are always important because they offer all of us, the makers, the doers, the witnesses, a way to ask questions and look for answers in unique and empathetic and often really surprising ways.
The performing arts is so important, especially during this pandemic where we realize just how much we miss it. It's crucial for life.
After over a year of isolation, as we emerge from the pandemic and as we seek to rebuild our communities, rebuild the economy, and to create jobs, the performing arts are uniquely adept at galvanizing the community to come together.
We encourage the building of bridges and not walls. We initiate conversations where people are liberated to question and explore and demonstrate how essential creativity is to life itself.
Arts and culture is the way that we express as humans. And I've always thought that it was important, and that's why I went into this career. But it is important more than ever because of the year that we have had, the continued racial injustices that we all face. We need joy, we need empathy, and art and culture does that for us.
And as a dance artist, I believe that dance speaks to audiences heart to heart and as a source of joy and healing. And in the storytelling can be an opportunity to share our tenacity and perseverance.
Before we were named as artists in this country, we were creating sound, we were creating what we needed for passage, what we needed for home, what we needed to survive, what we needed to communicate with the stars and get ourselves to freedom.
The performing arts play a vital role in renewing our spirits and awakening our hope for a new future.
The arts will play a huge part in our economic growth and recovery. As we reopen facilities, we will be putting millions of people back to work. The economic impact will stimulate the growth and development of our communities, returning them to the vibrant cultural centers they were pre-pandemic.
Over the past year, where everything's been upended, I've been inspired by so many artists and organizations who found a way to keep going and create and present work that helps make sense of what we're all going through. And for every one of us, this is an opportunity to reset some of the assumptions that have guided our field for so long.
So I raise an invisible glass. What can I say but the shows must go on and on and on and on. Well, where would we be without APAP? We've gotten used to this little screen and how to express ourselves and connect to the world, and that's it. I've made lifelong friends with these people that have supported us for half a century. It's really pretty remarkable.
I am as well really grateful to the APAP for existing, for being this bridge, this connector in between those presenting spaces, but I would say more, those human beings that are behind those presenting spaces that permits us to connect with the people, the citizens, one by one, but as well collectively.
You know, that happens at the conference, a place where we get to come together and explore creativity and action together, and through all of APAP's other programs.
For me, knowing there's a place I can turn to learn about anti-racism work, COVID-19 relief, reopening, live streaming, and more, specifically for our industry, makes me feel hugely supported and part of a family.
APAP continues to create a community for performing artists to come together, for folks working in the performing arts sector to come together and to continually be reminded of the power of our community and our collective wisdom.
I think APAP creates an alchemy that's really irresistible with people and ideas and energy and creative elements. I've learned so much every time I've attended the conferences. It's created moments of real magic
And it was there during my travels that I met someone who introduced me to APAP. And I went from being alone to having my vibe attract my tribe of like-minded individuals. APAP, I thank you.
After 60 years, the performing arts are still all about audiences. And so they've never been more important than they are right now. In our collective effort to reconnect people with each other.
As we begin to recover, I'm sensing a growing enthusiasm from our community, who are anxious to return to live performances, if for no other reason than to experience that magic nexus between art and life.
I think the performing arts are always important because they offer all of us, the makers, the doers, the witnesses, a way to ask questions and look for answers in unique and empathetic and often really surprising ways.
The live performing arts is so important, especially during this pandemic where we realize just how much we miss it. It's crucial for life.
After over a year of isolation, as we emerge from the pandemic and as we seek to rebuild our communities, rebuild the economy, and to create jobs, the performing arts are uniquely adept at galvanizing the community to come together.
We encourage the building of bridges and not walls. We initiate conversations where people are liberated to question and explore and demonstrate how essential creativity is to life itself.
Arts and culture is the way that we express as humans. And I've always thought that it was important, and that's why I went into this career. But it is important more than ever because of the year that we have had, the continued racial injustices that we all face. We need joy, we need empathy, and art and culture does that for us.
And as a dance artist, I believe that dance speaks to audiences heart to heart and is a source of joy and healing. And in the storytelling can be an opportunity to share our tenacity and perseverance.
Before we were named as artists in this country, we were creating sound, we were creating what we needed for passage, what we needed for home, what we needed to survive, what we needed to communicate with the stars and get ourselves to freedom.
The performing arts play a vital role in renewing our spirits and awakening our hope for a new future.
The arts will play a huge part in our economic growth and recovery. As we reopen facilities, we will be putting millions of people back to work. The economic impact will stimulate the growth and development of our communities, returning them to the vibrant cultural centers they were pre-pandemic.
Over the past year, where everything's been upended, I've been inspired by so many artists and organizations who found a way to keep going and create and present work that helps make sense of what we're all going through. And for every one of us, this is an opportunity to reset some of the assumptions that have guided our field for so long.
So I raise an invisible glass. What can I say but the shows must go on and on and on and on. Well, where would we be without APAP? We've gotten used to this little screen and how to express ourselves and connect to the world, and that's it. I've made lifelong friends with these people that have supported us for half a century. It's really pretty remarkable.
I am as well really grateful to the APAP for existing, for being this bridge, this connector in between those presenting spaces, but I would say more, those human beings that are behind those presenting spaces, that permits us to connect with the people, the citizens, one by one, but as well collectively.
You know, that happens at the conference, a place where we get to come together and explore creativity and action together, and through all of APAP's other programs.
For me, knowing there's a place I can turn to learn about anti-racism work, COVID-19 relief, reopening, live streaming, and more, specifically for our industry, makes me feel hugely supported and part of a family.
APAP continues to create a community for performing artists to come together, for folks working in the performing arts sector to come together and to continually be reminded of the power of our community and our collective wisdom.
I think APAP creates an alchemy that's really irresistible with people and ideas and energy and creative elements. I've learned so much every time I've attended the conferences. It's created moments of real magic.
And it was there during my travels that I met someone who introduced me to APAP. And I went from being alone to having my vibe attract my tribe of like-minded individuals. APAP, I thank you.